Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Confidently You podcast. I'm Helen, your host and owner of fantastic online female fitness, wellness, health, Confidently You brand Fit Girl Club. So, welcome to this week's podcast. I'm so excited to have you here. Hope you're well. How are you? How are you on this, if you're listening, and it's still like it is today, this dull day in February. Gosh, girls, look, let's call a spade a spade. If you're from the UK, we have to suffer through the winter. But my gosh, once you start appreciating the small things, you will realise how amazing it is as soon as you get a sunny day, or see the snowdrops, or the mornings are getting lighter. Martin and I take Una out for a walk at 6:30 every single morning. Actually, this morning it was 5:30, but 6:30 every single morning, just without fail, no matter the weather. And I've just pushed through and done it all winter. And the other day we were a bit late setting off, and just before 7, the sky was getting lighter. Bliss, absolute bliss. So I know some of you really suffer with seasonal affective disorder. That is a thing, and I know you're probably all suffering, and it is cold, it is dark, but promise you, once you start hearing the birds sing and appreciating the spring and summer a bit more. I've lived in countries where we didn't have seasons, and you miss them. You honestly do. I promise you. You probably think, no, I don't, Helen, but you do, and it's so joyous when they come back. So yeah, and enjoy this little bit of hibernation a bit more as well. In summer, it's all go. At least now you can get a bit cosy and snuggly and just like, I'm not going out today. Apart from your one walk that you have to go do. Yes, but if you're like on a Sunday afternoon, going to sit and watch some World War II films with me and a cup of tea and some chocolate. Fantastic. Absolute bliss. Or sticky toffee soaring is my treat. It's not even a treat of choice at the minute. So anyway, how are you? How's things going? How has 2026 been so far? A month has gone. Where does it go? I think we struggle through January, and then once it's gone, you're like, where has that gone? How dare you go fast? But all the way through, you're like, this is going so slow. It's just typical, isn't it? Are you doing well? Are you, eating well and looking after yourself? Are you eating like an adult? This is what I was saying to one of my clients the other day. Are you eating like an adult? Let's stop being silly. Don't worry about calories, or even though we do concentrate on calories, but the basics. Are you eating like an adult human being? Are you giving yourself nutrients that you need? Are you going to bed? Are you staying off your phone? A little bit of scrolling's fine, but get off that bloody phone, girls. Are you doing something good for your body, your mind, your soul? Are you having a wind down time? Are you sleeping like an adult as well? Actually, sleep like a child, because when you put your child to bed, probably sleeps for, 8, 9, 10 hours. Are you sleeping like a child? Because that's how you should be sleeping. Are you looking after yourself? Are you getting outside daily? Are you getting some fresh air? I don't care how dark it is. I don't care that it's windy, and I don't care that it's raining. Get outside. It's good for you. So how are you doing? If you're struggling, as always, in the show notes, please contact me. Let me know how you're getting on. I'm here to help. We can have a chat and go through anything that I might be able to help with you. There's no charge. Sometimes I get on calls with people and they just need a little shove in the right direction. I say shove because it is literally like, here's what you should be doing. Go get on with it. Whereas other women that help my clients, they need more support and help, and they want to change their lives. They want a full transformation, and that's what we work on. So this week's episode is called You're Not Unmotivated, You're Overstimulated. Right, let's get deep and down into this, because this is something I get a lot with women, and they're like, oh, I'm just not motivated. Why can't I do it? I've just got no willpower. But it's nothing to do with motivation. It's the fact that you've got too much going on, not that you can't do it. So let's start with some reflection, okay? Name the unspoken experience. If motivation worked, you'd already be there. So you'd already be doing it. If it worked, if it was like this magic motivation, you'd be doing it, because it's not as if you don't know what to do. Most of you know what to do. You just can't fit it in with your life. And then it's the constant loop and struggle and battle that you're going through of wanting to change but feeling too tired to start. But I'll get motivation on, or I'll be motivated next week, or come Monday I'll want to do it. And Monday's probably the worst day to start. And I said this in January, and I said January's probably the worst time to start anything new, because your motivation is in the floor. We're tired, we're worn out, we're overstimulated from Christmas, we've had enough, and then we're having to go back to work and the kids are back at school and everything's going on, and it's just craziness. So women blame themselves instead of the context they're living in. You don't look at your environment. What we tend to do is we see, let's say, influencers on Instagram with their perfect lives. I'm just after run an easy 10k at 2-minute kilometers because they're speedy and they're just really slim. But I don't eat, but I do eat, and I go outside. And it's not realistic. And some of these people lie as well. So some of these things are fabricated on social media. Yeah, that's why it's good to have some time away from social media, because then you look at your life, look at what you're doing, and then reframe it and think of what can I do differently. So what we call low motivation, reframe the problem. So what motivation actually is and why it disappears under stress. So motivation is energy, okay? Have you ever noticed when you're really motivated, it's usually when you've had a really good night's sleep and you've not been scrolling negative news on social media and you've had a really good experience, or you've just come back off holiday and you've got energy? That's all motivation is. You're energized. You'd rather go do a really tough workout when you've got energy, wouldn't you? Like, that's motivation, and that's where it comes from. The difference between laziness and depletion, right? Being lazy is you've got a mountain of stuff to do and you can't be bothered doing it, and you don't do it. And sometimes we do. Sometimes you're allowed to be lazy, girls, because I reckon one day in a month is fine. But everyone I speak to isn't lazy. Every woman I speak to is a high achiever in their work, their job. They probably have really, clean homes, and they do all the cooking and looking after children and looking after grandkids and looking after pets, looking after partners. No comment on that one. And no comment because I don't do it, because I'd refuse to do it. By the way, Martin pulls his weight in this house very, very well, and he always has done. I found a partner because of that reason. I won't be having no man-child to look after. Anyway, that's a little bugbear of mine. If you are stuck in a dead-end relationship with a man-child, please message me and I'll give you some words of wisdom and advice to get out of that situation, because you don't deserve that either. Because especially if you've got children, I don't even have children, but I don't want children. I love children, but I don't want children, and I don't want a child to look after in my house either. So you've got the chores, you've probably got a really high-flying career. Most of you are absolutely smashing it with your careers, putting your all into that, doing extra, by the way, a lot of you, putting a lot of extra time and effort into that. Where is the motivation to then go look after yourself after all that? Your battery is low. It's drained. So signs of overstimulation are you're constantly tired but wired. So you wake up, you feel knackered, but then a lot of people rely on stimulants like caffeine to keep them going. So you end up with this like wired feeling. I used to be like this, and it used to make me so anxious. I definitely think a lot of my ADHD tendencies and anxious tendencies boiled down to not looking after myself properly. I'm self-diagnosed ADHD, but everyone I meet tells me I've got ADHD, because you'll notice when I'm like off on one. But over the years, I honestly have learnt to manage it better. Now, disclaimer, if you're diagnosed, you've been to a doctor, you might need medication. Everyone is different. Remember, everyone is different with their lives and their neurodivergencies, or even if you're neurotypical, you're all different. So anxiety can show up in many different ways. But I worked out for me, and it took me years to do this, what was causing my anxiety. And a lot of it was not getting enough sleep, getting up in the morning, not eating, and having black coffee. Bah. One time I dropped the lid of my bottle. It's when I worked at Pure Gym in Manchester. I dropped the lid of my water bottle and it made me jump, and I was like, this needs to stop. There was no one else around me. I jumped out, but that's not good, is it? If you've got anxious like that, it actually makes me shudder thinking of it. I did actually stop the coffee for a bit then. But then also like poor quality sleep. Like, I'm not just talking about, I'm sick of this. You need 7 to 8 hours sleep. You need as much sleep as you need. What I want you to do as a test is go to bed one night, don't set an alarm, and see how much you actually genuinely sleep for and feel refreshed. Because in winter, I've started getting 9 hours sleep a night. I'm going to bed earlier. I know I've got no big responsibilities and things like that, but I'm still up at 6 every morning and I'm at my desk for 7. It's about a choice of, would I rather have more sleep, feel better, have more energy, which is motivation, or do I need to stay up and watch that extra episode on Netflix because that's my me time, but then you'll just feel like crap tomorrow? You kind of, that saying, cutting off your nose to spite your face. that episode will still be there tomorrow. Telly's rubbish anyway. That episode of whatever rubbish you're watching, it'll still be there tomorrow. Just get to bed, read a book, or meditate, or wind down, do something. Go to bed earlier. I'm telling you now, especially in winter. I will not sleep as much in summer. I won't need to. I'll be fine back to my 8 hours, maybe 7.5. Ooh. Irritability and low mood. My goodness. I can tell when I'm starting to feel worn out. So I exercise a lot, I eat very well, I sleep well, but I can tell when I'm starting to feel a bit like, I hate the saying you're doing too much, because my mum used to say that to me, and that really frustrates me because it's about balancing everything. But I can tell when I'm getting to that point where maybe my exertion is outweighing my recovery. Now, this doesn't always work with exercise in your life. It's sometimes with work as well. So when my business is really busy, when I've got loads of new clients, new calls coming in, it's quite full on, and I've got a lot of stuff to do, that can burn me out as well. So that's like mental fatigue. So you've got your mental fatigue, your physical exhaustion, and then are you actually recovering? Are you taking rest days? And I mean by rest days, I mean like have a duvet on the sofa, go out for a family walk. But are you also like eating enough fuel to recover? Which is a really fine line when you're in fat loss, because you need to be in a deficit, but you also need to be fueling yourself. Now, this is where it comes down to nutritional quality, and I've talked before about nutrition. I will do another podcast, actually. I might do it next week, about nutrition and balancing losing fat, but also eating good quality food. Let's talk about it. I talk about the elephant in the room. If you're on weight loss injections, right, whatever, do what you want. It's your own life, you know. Freaking hell, you can't talk about me in my 20s and my party days, what I put in my body in those years. Absolutely crazy. So I'll never judge anyone for taking weight loss injections. But if you are doing weight loss injections, you also need to be looking at you for everyone, no, whatever diet you're on, whatever deficit you're on, if you're not eating enough fuel, you will not have enough energy. If you're not eating the right food, you will not have enough energy. So whatever diet, or if you're on appetite suppressants, weight loss injections, and you're eating 800 calories a day, woohoo, good for you. You're dropping body fat like, I don't know, just pounds a day. It's coming off you. It's just dripping off you like water. Oh, what a success you are. No, you're not, because you're not giving your body needs nutrients to survive. Your brain needs energy, fat, energy to survive. Your muscles, you will deteriorate and you will feel rubbish and you will be more prone to health problems. Yes, obesity is a problem, but also is malnutrition. All right, don't want rickets, girls. And that, ask yourself, why is your hair falling out? If it's falling out, it's because you're not looking after yourself. So you need to have that balance, and that's going to give you, I went on a massive tangent there, didn't I? But that's going to give you more energy, which is motivation. And irritability and low mood. My goodness. If I start feeling... Last night, I was like, I think I'm getting ill. And then Martin, he's always right. Maybe just a bit tired. Anyway, we went to bed early and I feel mint today. I was like, oh yeah, I was just tired. I wasn't getting ill. Decision fatigue. This is a big one. So if you've got up at 6, you've walked the dog, you've done the kids' packed lunches, you've taken them to school, you've gone to work, your boss has pulled you into a last minute meeting that it doesn't discuss with you, and you're like thinking on your feet, and then you're going to have to organise the event for next week that they didn't tell you about again. Sandra's split up with her husband and she won't stop talking to you about it, but she doesn't actually take your advice. She just keeps coming back with the same problem, and you're giving out your advice to her and she doesn't even listen. You don't have time for your lunch, so you just sit at your desk and you grab some sweets out the snack jar in the office, and then you get home and your husband says, what's for tea? Does that sound, is that you? Have I just discussed your life? Let's look at that. So if you're going, oh my God, that's me, take a step back, right? What's draining your energy in that situation? So what's draining you? And it's this, Sandra at the office, your boss at the office, this. And these are down to like boundaries and decision fatigue. What's for tea? Blah, blah, blah. You don't know. You look in the fridge, there's nothing there. You have to go shop. Planning your week ahead and having it written down. Right, Simon, on Tuesday, you're cooking tea. That's what I said to Martin. I said, right, what are we having for the week? Every week I might plan it. He'll either go shopping or I go shopping. One of us cleans and one of us shops. Decision. He's better at the shopping and I'm better at the cleaning, to be honest. He's not actually better at the shopping because he gets loads of treats, but he's better at the shopping than the cleaning, so I'd rather do that. And then we've got our weekly menu and it's only me and him. And I could think of something to eat every night, easy. It'd just be chicken and veg if it was me. Chicken and veg, fish and veg. That's all I ate when he was away. And then, right, you're cooking tonight. He knows he's doing it and off he goes. Easy. Anyone can cook salmon and stir fry. If they can't cook it, YouTube. Go learn. Because how on earth did you learn to do it? It wasn't through YouTube, it was through our parents probably. But this is the thing, and it's about setting boundaries and saying, we're a team here, and that's just with your partner as well, and that's taking away a lot of the decision. There's loads of things with boundaries we can add in there about Sandra at work and about your boss, but these take time to build. This is how you gain back energy and gain back motivation, by starting to put things into place in your life. Now, I'm making this sound really easy, aren't I? You're like, oh, that sounds good, let's go do that. You're not going to tell Sandra to piss off when she comes and complains about her husband. But there are boundaries that you can start putting in when people drain you and drain your energy, and you can start putting processes in at home. And even if you've been with your partner for 30 years and it's been the same way, there are things you can do. And if they don't listen to you and understand and work with you, then maybe it's time to think of something else. I'm not going to say anything, but it's up to you. So why busy women feel this the most? So you've got the mental load of everything. We're thinkers, aren't we? We're thinkers. I'll use Martin as an example. He's a fantastic partner, by the way, but he is funny. Especially since he came back from travelling, I think he was so used to just being away and having things done for him, which is great. But I'd turn around and be like, we'd have a conversation. And then when it came to it, the thing that we'd had a conversation about, he'd have forgotten half of it. And I'm like, you just don't listen to me. But it's not that he doesn't listen to me, but I think you have to be, with some men, you have to be more like, this is, clarification. So we've made a decision to write things down more. But our mental load is like, I'll get up in the morning and get ready to take Una out, but then I put the washing up away, I make the cups of tea. Do you know what I mean? We can, as women, a lot of us, multitask a lot more and do a lot more things and think about a lot more things. And I don't need to sit down to do one thing. I'll do like 3 things at once. You've got the invisible labour as well that we have, especially if you've got children. And then you've got emotional responsibility as well. We do take on board things. Not that men don't, but we do take on board. We're more empaths. Empaths, say that word right? Empaths. So we take on board people's thoughts, feelings, emotions. With Sandra at the office, you'll be taking on some of that. That's why you need to have boundaries. We just try harder. Why just try harder? Advice backfires because you're trying hard. Because you're already trying hard. How can you try harder when you've got nothing left to give? It doesn't work. And the pressure to perform wellness perfectly. This perfectionism mindset. Well, if so-and-so can do it, we should do it, and we should be perfect. And why can't I do it? I want to do 6 workouts a week and eat in a calorie deficit every day and eat perfectly and da-da-da. And we just put this pressure on ourselves. But really, we need to think more of progress over perfection. That's my mantra. It's everything I work on with my clients. It's overcoming all or nothing thinking. It's the only way to get progress because life isn't perfect. No one is perfect. Absolutely not. And it can't be. It's impossible. And you're holding yourself, you're really high achieving with everything you do, and you're holding yourself to too high a standard, okay? Too high standard. So this is the consequences, and I want to do this without fear-mongering, right? But this is the consequences if you just struggle on and keep pushing through and you're like, it'll get easier, because it won't. What pushing through leads to inconsistent routines, injuries and aches, because you're just going to go into the gym and you're going to do that mental HIIT class. Nothing wrong with HIIT class, but you're going to go mental HIIT class, or you're going to go run a marathon next week, or just sign up to this ridiculous thing. And then your body's not ready for it because you don't start from the bottom and work your way up. You end up in these stop-start cycles with your diet, on, off, on, off. I can do it. Oh, I can't do it. I can do it. I could do it for a few days. I can't do it. It's too hard. And then you lose self-trust. Why am I useless? Why can't I do this? And this reinforces your belief that you're just bad at it. But you're not just bad at it. It's the system you are trying to achieve that makes you give up. You're not a failure. You're just giving up. You need the right system. So what actually helps? So regulation before motivation. This is the important bit, girls. You need to be listening to this. You need to be taking advice, and you need to action this if you're struggling. This isn't a long to-do list. I want to keep it simple and soothing. We're offering 3 to 4 shifts, okay? I want you to reduce before you add. This is game changing. So I need you to lower expectations before setting goals. I need you to reduce your workload. I need to reduce your mental strain before you start adding to stuff. Don't start like, I'm going to do a calorie deficit, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, before you reduce your mental load. Start by planning your week. Start by having a conversation with people around you and just setting up a bit less mental load. We're going to start by stabilising your energy, not your habits. So first you're going to focus on your sleep. What did I tell you about? Turn off that Netflix, turn it off, turn it off. Get it off. You're going to look at your nutrient density of your meals. So you're going to eat more fruit and vegetable, eat like a bloody adult. Yes, protein's a buzzword, but it also makes you feel full. High volume, loads of soups. You don't have to make them yourself. You don't have to be Mary Berry or Nigella. You might want to be Nigella. Don't know why. Not that I don't know why everyone fancies it, but Nigella, everyone's like the sexy cook. Why is Mary Berry the sexy cook? The poor, lovely old lady. Her recipes are fantastic. And movement that restores, not drains you. Just start small. Get outside for a walk every day. Go out for a walk with a friend that lights you up. Stop trying to go into these like ridiculous exercise regimes because you're like, I want to lose fat now, whereas you're putting a plaster on a broken leg. You need to wear a cast first, not a plaster. Put your cast on, let it recover, let it heal. This is your energy, this is your motivation. Shorten the feedback loop. So tiny actions that create safety and success. So instead of thinking, I want to lose 10 stone, you're going to do, I want to have more energy. This week, I'm going to keep an eye on it every week do a month at least. Set the minimum parameters until you've got more energy, and then you'll have more capacity to then take something away, like a calorie deficit, or add something more challenging, like a HIIT workout, or a running regime, or, weight training. Stop using shame as fuel. It works short term and costs long term. Oh my God. The first thing that happens when someone comes to work with me is I tell them, well, this is before they sign up actually, because you need to know this. I always say, I am not a drill sergeant. I will never shout at you. And I've had clients before saying, Helen, I just need you to shout at me. I'll get better results. And I'm like, no, I don't believe in negative reinforcement. I will always praise you with positivity for every little thing that you do right. Then if something's not working, not that you've done anything wrong, and you never fail unless you quit and give up, you never fail. We just change things around and we can just be flexible and make little changes. But I will give constructive feedback, as in like, right, that's not working. What can we do differently? I did it with a client recently. She's really struggling on tracking. She's got no time. She's burning herself out. All this other stuff. Literally what I'm talking to you about today. And I'm like, right, let's scale it back. Let's just take pictures of our food and send them to me. But you have to do something. Saying you're too busy and doing nothing, you'll always be too busy and do nothing. So start looking after yourself a bit better. Have some boundaries. Say no. Tell your boss to get stuffed. Don't do that, please. I'm only joking. But set boundaries. Look, honestly, girls, when you die, on your gravestone, do you want it to say, yes, she worked really hard at that job for someone else? No. You want to say she lived and she was full of life and she had fun and she did everything she wanted to because she felt amazing. She had energy to do it. Bring it home. Your body isn't resisting change, it's protecting you. So whenever it's like, oh, I can't be bothered, and you're forcing it to do stuff, it's like, hi, here, help, I've got no energy, you're treating me like crap and I feel rubbish, and now you're trying to force me to do more stuff. Stop it. Learning to ask, what do I have capacity for today? I love this saying. Just have your bare minimum. Just have an each day bare minimum. Eat like an adult, get enough sleep. Eat like an adult, sleep like a child. Fuel your body. Well, I did eat like an adult. Get outside. Get outside. That should be bare minimum for a day. Stop when you're feeling tired and lacking motivation, just grabbing a pastry, an almond croissant, because it's just there. Stop it. That is a treat and they should be enjoyed. You are not enjoying that almond croissant when you're grabbing it in a rush at 10 o'clock because you haven't had a decent breakfast and your body is screaming for proper nutrition. Sorry, I got one there. Motivation returns when safety returns. So I want you to notice when you label yourselves as unmotivated this week and actually ask what it actually is. Okay? Are you tired? Are you hungry? What is it? Are you feeling lonely? what's going on? There's a saying in it's Anon. It's not Alcoholics Anonymous. It's the Friends of Alcoholics Anonymous. Mike was telling me about it because his mum quite openly goes to AA and is alcoholic. I'm openly sober, and we'll talk about my sobriety journey. But there was a saying in Anon which is HALT, and it's: are you hungry, alone, lonely, or tired? When you feel low motivation, what is it? Are you looking after yourself? Come on, girls, let's be realistic. I want you to reflect. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't be like, oh God, yeah, I am useless and this and this. I want you to look at your life and go, where can I make little changes that are going to make a drastic improvement? Because until you fix the root cause, you cannot make progress, and you never will. You'll always be in that stop-start cycle until you actually look at your life and give yourself more energy. It's simple. It's the chicken or the egg situation. I'm not motivated because I've got no energy. I can't do anything because I'm not motivated. I've got no energy, so I can't do anything. Stop it. The way to get more energy is like looking after yourself properly. All right, I went on one a bit there. Do apologise, but this is what you get with me. I'll always tell you. I'll be honest, but as soon as you message me and go, Helen, I went to bed an hour early last night, I read my book and I feel amazing, I will be your biggest cheerleader in the world. I'm like, oh my God, you are so amazing. I love you. I'm so proud of you. And it's true. And I don't say it sarcastically, and it doesn't come from inauthenticity. Ask my girls who work with me, they're like, I love my, check-ins on a Monday, because I was literally like, you're amazing, let's do this. I had a girl yesterday, she won't mind me naming her, she's been on the podcast before, Laura, and she done a weekly check-in and not put any wins. You have to do 3 wins a week. I want 3 wins, girls. I'm not asking for much. The sun shone. I stroked a dog. Someone smiled at me. Simple. I had a coffee. I don't care. It can be big, it can be little wins. And when you start seeing it through that lens, everything becomes brighter. So when you see the minute wins, everything becomes brighter. But when she sent through her check-in, I was like, well, no, you've actually had a really good week, because I know this shit has gone on that she's had to deal with, and this shit, so you've actually done really well. And she was like, oh yeah, haven't I? Sometimes you just need a word from a positive cheerleader in your corner. Coach Helen, here to save the day. That's what I do, and that's what I love doing, and that's what I was brought to this earth to do. Brought to this earth? I'm not an alien. Maybe I am. Anyway, have a fab week. Check out the show notes. There's information on how you can contact me. If you need any more help, have a chat. Come on. This is what you get, by the way. If you ever speak to me, what you see is what you get. Every week I speak to a different person, and every week they say, don't take this the wrong way, but you're really normal. And it's the best compliment I can have. So have a fab week. Listen and learn. Take action. Even if you do one small thing this week, I want to hear about it. And yeah. Love you. See you soon.